Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It's your girl, Lexi Forbes, and I'm coming at you with another weekly cosmic forecast. We're going to be talking about March 30th to April 6th. And I got to say, this week, some of the themes are pretty strong. At first, when I looked at the calendar, I thought, okay, it's kind of a quiet week. There's not really a lot happening. But then when I actually was channeling and sitting down and just trying to come up with using my intuition, I was like, you know what? Actually, let me rewind that because this week we have just a lot of we have Neptune moving into Aries. We have Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio. It moved into it this week, actually. So this is a pretty big transit. We have Venus retrograde still happening, which also it has moved into Pisces now as a result of, not as a result, as of this week. So there's just a lot of energy, movement, and some of these big planets. I mean, some of these, Neptune hasn't been in Aries since I don't know, I don't know. It's been a really long time. I should have looked that up before I got on here, but it's been a very, very long time. So this is a big transit. It's a big move. So some of the themes you can expect this week is emotional sensitivity moving forward because we have that Neptune moving into Aries, and also because of the Black Moon Lilith, that deep shadow work transformation. You're going to be invited into a lot of action. And I think also I want to tie in a little bit of politics, just a little bit, but not a lot. Not because I'm afraid to talk politics, because I'll talk politics all day. Okay. I have no problems. Okay. Kamala Harris in the building, but I wish, but it's more that it's I tend to stay away from future predicting because that's just not my vibe. I like to use astrology to help understand myself and understand what's happening right now in the moment, as opposed to trying to see what's happening in the future, all of that. I try to stay away from that. But I do want to talk a little bit about how these transits are going to be possibly influencing some of the things that we see in our government, some of the things that we're seeing, because we're seeing it play out. It's crazy. Okay, so let's get into it. Sunday, March 30th, Neptune officially moves into Aries until October 22nd. This is a very big deal because Neptune is the planet of dreams, of spirituality, of collective consciousness. It's also about illusions and what you think is reality, but it really isn't, the Matrix kind of vibe. That's what Neptune is all about. And it's moving into a very forward, very bold, very aggressive sign of Aries, very collective, I don't know, Neptune is kind of this dreamy, whimsical, I don't know what's going on kind of planet. Right. But then you have Aries, which very much knows what's going on and is very listen, get your shit together or else. So those two energies are just so opposite of one another. So that's what makes this transit such a huge thing. We're shifting from the end of the zodiac with Neptune being in Pisces, and we're starting over and we're moving into the beginning now with Aries being the first sign of the zodiac. So that means that you can feel, you can expect to feel this call to spiritual action, to taking action on your dreams. You're going to see a collective push even for people to start wanting to activate their spiritual visions and wanting to take action on what they believe. Now, the light side of that is that we might feel comfortable sharing our beliefs. We might feel comfortable exposing some of the practices that help us to overcome our stressors and our coping skills and all that stuff. But the shadow side of it is that there's also probably going to be a push of people who are pushing their spiritual agenda on to other people, because Aries is still, it's in a very aggressive sign. It rules over war, which is also something that's kind of interesting, because with Neptune moving into Aries, there might be conversations and fights and arguments, and whether we're talking about in your personal life, or whether we're talking about at the political level, where there's rumors of wars or rumors of dissent, but nothing really concrete. And we don't know what's real versus what's not real. You may start to see that kind of vibration showing up, of just not sure what is actually happening. Like that is kind of the energy that we can expect. So on the, macro level, you can expect that when it comes to the news, when it comes to the information that you're receiving, there's probably you have to be very discerning because there's going to be a lot of confusion. When it comes to your personal level, when it comes to that micro level, that also could show up in your relationships. That could show up in your business. That could show up in your personal relationships, in your personal life, in your love life. You might find that you're starting to kind of lose a sense of clarity on where you're headed, but yet you feel this momentum that's like, I must decide and I must take action now, right? So what I encourage you to do is practice discernment, right? And really, really connect to your intuition. This is not the time to put your spiritual practices on the back burner. This is the time when you need to be practicing your coping skills, doing your daily rituals, following a morning routine and an evening routine. Like, what are the things that keep you in your power, that keep you in your magic? Because that is what you're going to be needing to do with Neptune moving into Aries until October. All right. When it comes to your business, this is the time to take some action towards like your spiritual ideas and the things that you've been channeling. This is the time to stop dreaming about it and start building it, start making it happen. Again, practice discernment, because not every idea that you have is going to be something that you want to take action on. Not every idea is going to be profitable or worthy of your time. But those ideas that are, especially for my spiritual business owners, which is like the majority of my audience, I want to encourage you to start taking action, because again, Aries is an action oriented sign. So it's like, it's time to start taking action on those spiritual visions. This is also a great time to launch your creative offerings, to share your spiritual content, and launch like big spiritual programs that you have going on. This is a great time to take advantage of this energy. This is also a great time to, because you have this, like, with Neptune moving into Aries, there's this like warrior energy that's going to start like emerging. And we have quite a few other planets in Aries as well. Then there's going to be this expect to feel this call to leadership and to like really standing in your power. Expect bold new ideas and to just pop up in your dreams and pop up in your life. Oh, and that's going to be something, your dreams, because yeah, since Aries is a aggressive sign, a clear sign, and then you have Neptune, which rules over dreams, your dreams might become very, very clear and very like, oh, boom, focus. Let's do this. Let's do that. And you have to be willing to take the action. Don't just dream about it, make it happen. All right. Okay. Let's move on to March 31st, which is going to be Monday. This is when the moon is in Taurus. Now, this is kind of like a different energy. Because Taurus is all about relaxation, taking your time, really just not putting too much pressure on yourself to make anything happen. Like, that's what Taurus is all. Girls, okay, let me tell you something. Girls, gays, and days. I got my nails done, all right? And I got my hair did. I'm feeling good. That's very Taurian, actually, now that I think about it. I got my hair done. I got my nails. I got my makeup on. So I'm sorry for all the like, if you're watching the video, there's lots of hand movements. Okay. This is what happens when your girl gets pretty. Okay. But speaking of, when the moon moves into Taurus, this is a great time to focus on getting pretty. When's the last time you took care of yourself? When's the last time you went and got your nails did? Okay. Get your hair done, right? Taurus is ruled by Venus, the planet of love, the planet of beauty, the planet of money, of values, of possessions. So, where are you neglecting yourself? That's what this moon in Taurus is basically saying. Like, the moon in Taurus is saying, hey, this is a time to rest. It's a time to nourish. It's a time to stabilize your energy and come back to this space of self care, and keep that in mind when you make your decisions, when you're setting boundaries. Boundaries is self-care. Hashtag boundaries is self-care. So make sure that you're doing those things. And especially since, again, we have Neptune moving into Aries. So we already have this like forward movement when it comes to our dreams, when it comes to our business. We're like feeling like, yeah, let's make it happen. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself at the same time. That's what this moon in Taurus is all about. On Tuesday, April 1st, which is April Fool's Day, yay, which I don't think anybody celebrates April Fool's Days anymore because every day is April Fool's Day. Doesn't it feel like it? Anyways, so the moon moves into Gemini from Taurus at 4:26 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we spend the majority of the moon in Taurus on Tuesday. So you're still in this like pretty grounded, relaxed, chill kind of energy, taking care of yourself, living your best life in that way. But by 4:30, there's a shift, but not that it's not dramatic because Gemini isn't really like known for its dramatics. That would be Leo. Yeah. Oh God. All right. Don't come after me. Um, but it is a sign that is like the energy is different because it's a little bit more chaotic and it's a little bit more like, let's move forward. Where Taurus is all about grounding your energy, stabilizing, really kind of, it's an earth sign. So, it's that foundation, Gemini is an air sign. So Gemini is like, let's move, let's go, let's take action, right? It's very much about logic and very much about moving forward, moving ahead. It's also a very curious sign. So your energy might shift from one of kind of like lazing around, relaxing, to one of like social butterfly. I want to be everywhere and I want to do anything that will be fun and exciting. And I'm like leaning into my curiosity. So this is a perfect time to go live, to collaborate, or to ask people to collaborate. If you're on Substack, collaborate on a podcast, collaborate with, especially because Gemini rules over writing too. So ask somebody to write on your Substack, go live on Instagram, go live on Substack. We love Substack. Okay. Can you tell? Reply to DMs. It's a very social sign. So this is the time to kind of put yourself out there in that way. And then another thing that you can do is focus on writing and manifesting through writing. Scripting is one of my favorite tools for manifestation. And if you have a Jupiter in the air signs, Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra, then you definitely need to make sure that you are utilizing scripting as part of your manifestation tool. And speaking of, let me get this book. Okay. So for my visual people, I am so excited. I have a new book called The Manifestation Blueprint. I printed it out. I'm so excited. So first we had the ABC framework. That's my first book that I printed out. And now we have the Manifestation Blueprint. And this is entirely free. This is amazing. It is over 33 pages of information on how to use your natal Jupiter, meaning the where Jupiter was in your chart when you were born, how to use that Jupiter to help you manifest, to help you create opportunities. Inside, I literally go through each of, the signs, Jupiter in Sagittarius, Jupiter in Aries, Jupiter in Leo. I go through each one of them. I also talk about what you can expect when it comes to Jupiter retrogrades, what it actually means, how it influences, what you can do in terms of rituals. I also talk about how to ground yourself so that way you stay in your power while you're manifesting. I mean, this book is phenomenal and it's entirely free. So I'm going to put the link in the description so that way you guys can download it. Print it off. If you do end up printing it off, go ahead and tag me on Instagram or let me know through Substack. Email me, send me photos. Like, I would love to see your copy in your hands, and I'd love to see what you think about it and how it's influencing you. But I literally go through exactly like, okay, if your Jupiter is in Gemini, like I said, should you be scripting? Should you be voice noting your manifestations? Like, these are the things that you can do to help you to create opportunity for yourself. So if manifestation is a challenge and you've tried everything, then you need to try my book. Okay. Okay. So let's move on to Wednesday, April 2nd, when the moon in Gemini continues. So Gemini also rules over mental stimulation, over logic, over overthinking. That's the shadow side of it. And it also rules over being like emotionally restless, like just feeling almost disconnected from your emotions, but also feeling this like sense of, sorry, my phone. I have one of these like these things. So you just heard that sound. But, oh, sorry. I just gotta get some chapstick because you girls' lips are chapped. So you got to be pretty, right? That's my Leo moon coming out. Anyways, okay, so it rules over emotional restlessness and being like almost disconnected from your emotions because you're so in your head. So make sure that on Wednesday that you're taking care of your mind, right? So on Monday we were taking care of our body, but now on Tuesday and Wednesday we want to take care of our mind. We want to focus on making sure that we aren't overthinking everything, that we are using the Neptune and Aries energy to allow us to take action on our dreams, that we aren't disconnected from our heart center, but that we're actually taking responsibility for ourselves and thinking through things in a balanced way. This is a great time though for you to share some insights that you have. A lot of times what ends up happening is you just feel this with the moon in Gemini, there's almost like lots of chatter, mental chatter. Share some of those thoughts, share some of your insights with your audience. Again, practice discernment. What do they need to know versus what is for you? That's what you're going to have to use your intuition to decide. But it is a great day to like write emails, blogs, social media posts, whatever, Substack. It's a perfect day to focus on getting your insights out there and sharing it with your community. Then we have Thursday, April 3rd, which moves into Cancer. So Cancer is a very emotional sign. So we move from bo- taking care of the body, moon in Taurus, taking care of the mind, moon in Gemini, and then taking care of the soul. Oh yes, taking care of the heart, the vibration with this moon in Cancer. And the reason why I say that is because the moon in Cancer is a very inward and tender and intuitive sign. It's a water sign. It's a water element. So it's time to come home to yourself emotionally after having 2 days of having a lot of emotional or mental chatter, a lot of thoughts, a lot of, possible overthinking. Now this is the time to get into your more spiritual, intuitive, powerful self. So if you have been neglecting your spiritual practices, if you have not been doing your abundance rituals, this is the time to dive into the divine feminine within, which we all have, the divine masculine and the divine feminine. We also have the shadow feminine and the shadow masculine. So, be careful out here. But the point is that I want you to focus on nurturing your spiritual side and really connecting to what are the areas in my life where I can spiritualize it, romanticize it, and turn it into something that connects me to my higher power, right? This is also a powerful day for manifesting through feeling. Visualize what you want and then allow yourself to emotionally connect to it. Let's move on to Friday. Friday, April 4th, Mars in Cancer trines Saturn in Pisces. So, how I like to remember trines, these are aspects. This is when you get like into intermediate astrology. I'm still learning aspects and learning the meanings of them. I'm an intuitive astrologer, so a lot of times when I learn astrology, I get the facts. You know what I mean? I look at the books, I look at the research. My midheaven is in Scorpio, so I'm a researcher by nature. But I also love to use my own intuition to decide what this actually means. And so I'm still learning is my point. I'm still learning things like aspects and what it all means. With trines, what that means is that one planet and the other planet are in the same element. They're both in water signs in this case. So Mars is in Cancer and Saturn is in Pisces. And as a result of that, the emotional energy kind of shifts a little bit, right? We have Mars, the planet of drive, of motivation, harmonizing with Saturn, the planet of structure and discipline, which means you can now turn your feelings into action. You can actually start to discipline yourself and act and take responsibility for how you feel and where it's going to help you manifest and where it's going to help you to create. You may even feel more emotionally stable and able to commit to long-term goals in a way that you weren't doing before. And it's going to be rooted in intuitive action. And so this, just like I was saying with Thursday, identify where are you neglecting your spiritual practices, because by Friday you'll have this like full on invitation to really take action on that intuitive nudge that you've been feeling, right? So focus on slow sustainable progress, focus on taking action on your creative and spiritual goals. This is a great day for discipline without forcing it. All right, let's move on to Saturday, April 5th, where the moon in Cancer continues. And because it's Saturday, this is also just, it's a cozy day. It's a day to just relax, right? So you may feel the need to nurture yourself, to rest, to protect and care for your energy. It is a great day to reset or to engage in just homey rituals, because Cancer also rules over the home. So redecorating your house, and with Venus in retrograde, this is a perfect time to also be redecorating. We'll talk a little bit about Venus retrograde just in a minute here, but this is a perfect time to focus on like reorganizing your house and creating space in your home that again feels beautiful. Do you have a beautiful altar that's set up or feels spiritual and beautiful? Do you have an altar? Do you have a meditation corner, a meditation room? Whatever it is, like where do you go spiritually, or where do you go to create a spiritual center, right? So that is where you want to focus on that on Saturday. You may not feel, because the moon is in Cancer, you may not feel this like push to take action necessarily, like to do all the things, as much as you might feel more like, I just want to relax, I just want to stay home, and I just want to chill. But in some areas of your life, and see, this is what makes birth charts so powerful. In some areas of your life, just depending on where Cancer is for you, you're going to feel either one way where you're like, I want to stay home, I want to be in my own energy, I want to focus on my spiritual self. But where Aries is in your chart, which is where Neptune is, that is going to be the area of your life where you're going to feel that forward movement and that desire to like take action. So let's say if you have an Aries midheaven, then that's your house of career, that's your house of legacy and purpose. So that means that when it comes to your career and your business goals, you'll probably feel this nudge and push to take intuitive, powerful action there. But let's say if your Cancer is over your seventh house of relationships, then you might feel more of a sense of like, I want to just kind of feel into my relationships. I want to focus on slowing things down a little bit, spending more time figuring out what I want in my relationship. How can I intuitively connect to the people in my life? Like, that's what makes astrology so amazing, and in particular birth charts, because birth charts will give you the timing and the areas of your life that you can expect to emotionally feel these things. So that's what I do. I do birth chart readings where I help you to identify what's going on in certain areas of your life. I help you to understand yourself, and then also, yes, understand timing. When is the best time to focus on my business goals or to focus on my relationship changes or things like that? So if you're looking for a birth chart reader, your girl is right here. Just go to the description to schedule your call. And if you want to work with me on a long-term basis, I just now launched my packages that I'm very excited about. I already have packages for my social media consulting, but I now have packages for birth chart readings. So you can meet with me once a month or twice a month, and we can talk about what you can expect each month, what you can expect emotionally, what you should focus on, when you should launch something in your business. We could talk about all of it. And so the links are in the description. So definitely check that out. I would love to be your personal astrologer. Okay, so now let's talk about Venus in retrograde, because Venus retrograded into Pisces now until April 12th. So we got a few weeks here. Wait, a week or two? couple, whatever, days. We got some time. And so when Venus is retrograding, what you can expect emotionally, Venus rules over love, money, and pleasure, right? And so emotionally, we might not be feeling that right now. We might not be feeling this like, because it's not moving. It is moving forward, but it feels like it's not moving forward. It looks like it's not moving forward in the sky. And so the fact that it's retrograding into Pisces, which is a very dreamy sign, that retrograde energy may bring confusion in your relationships. It can also make money, like trying to make money decisions, seem a little foggy. You might struggle sometimes with like trying to figure out where's the best use of my money. And you might feel a little nostalgic, like you're missing the past. If those feelings come up, girl, you're just feeling Venus in retrograde. So this is the perfect time to focus on what are those things in the past that you remember that you want to maybe bring forward into your life once Venus goes direct after April 12th, which we will have a shadow period for a little bit, but we're not going to get into that right now. Point is, after April 12th, what do you want to bring from your past into your future? One of the things that I think about, for example, is I was feeling nostalgic a little bit about my discipline that I used to have when I first lost a lot of weight. Like, girl, I mean, don't compare yourself to your teenage self because you're not a teenager. But I remember the discipline that I had, and I loved that discipline. I loved that I would meal prep. I loved that I would go to the gym frequently. I loved that I would take my Zumba classes and my step classes. Like, I really made working out and eating healthy a lifestyle, and I missed that. And when I thought about that, I thought, well, that makes a lot of sense. With Venus going retrograde, I would be thinking about beauty, and I would be thinking about things that brought me pleasure. And so now I'm finding myself going back into that thought process of how can I bring that discipline from back then into today. It might not look exactly the same, and I'm telling you for sure it will not, but but I can bring some aspects of that into the future. So if you're longing for the past, don't focus on idealizing it as much as you can focus on what can I learn and bring into the future, bring into my present, right? Be mindful though. Venus retrogrades tend to bring up exes. They tend to bring up old relationships. Be mindful. Now, it is not always bad. Me and my husband, we got back together during a Venus in retrograde, which was kind of funny. We were not planning that at all. It's not, and now we're married. So, and we're happy. So, because it's not just enough to be married, you need to be happy, right? Okay. Point is that it doesn't always have to be a bad thing. A lot of good things can happen during retrogrades because you're revisiting things. However, I want you to revisit it with discernment, right? Revisit it with an attitude of what was real and what was not real. Don't idolize and romanticize past relationships when really they were unhealthy. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. Be gentle with your heart. Avoid making major love decisions until Venus moves forward. So that's also another thing too. When my husband and I were getting back together, during a Venus in retrograde, he had asked to be back in a relationship when Venus was retrograding. And I knew that Venus was retrograding. I didn't realize it at first when he first asked, but then when I went to check the transits, I was like, oh my God, Venus is retrograding. Of course he would ask me now. And I didn't say yes immediately. I took a while. And it's because I needed to make sure that this was not just a Venus in retrograde, intuitively pushing him to make decisions that he wouldn't normally, or I wouldn't say wouldn't normally make, but maybe him romanticizing our past relationships and not being real, right? And me doing the same thing. I didn't want to make that mistake. So I took my time. And that's what I want to encourage you to do as well, is be gentle with your heart, but avoid making major love decisions until the retrograde, until Venus goes direct. Okay. And lastly, we're doing good on time, even though I'm going to go over a little bit. Black Moon Lilith. I feel like I could do a whole episode on Black Moon Lilith. I love her. She is everything. Now, this is a huge transit. Black Moon Lilith represents the raw, untamed, wild, shadow, unapologetic part of you. Okay. She has no qualms letting people know what's good. Okay. I'm thinking Nicki Minaj when she was asking Miley Cyrus what's good at the award shows. All right. That's what I'm thinking when I think Black Moon Lilith. Power. She represents the shadow self. She represents your rage, your divine feminine power, and your the thing that makes you a little too much. That's your Black Moon Lilith. And she's moving into Scorpio, which that is a beautiful placement. Oh, I love it. Because think of it, rage, power, Scorpio. Oh, come on. So this is going to amplify your emotions a lot. It's also going to amplify your sexual energy and your desire to discuss or move into or explore like the taboo stuff, kinks, pleasures, astrology, the occult, things like that. You're going to find that you're going to feel curious about these topics. Lean into it. Lean into it because this is the time for you to start exploring the shadow self, doing shadow work, shadow healing. I highly recommend working with someone through that process, whether it's through a book or through a coach, because sometimes, it can be tricky doing shadow work because it can take you into really dark places that make you feel very overwhelmed, but we all have our shadows, which is the parts of us that, again, that is rageful, that has, wants justice, that wants this, and maybe not always in the most fair ways, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? We all have it. So it's like looking at that part of yourself, and identifying like what's going on. And what you can do is look where your Scorpio is in your chart, what area of your life that's going to be in. For me, Black Moon Lilith is going to be in my 10th house of career. And so there's going to be this raw, which I feel it. Oh my God, I feel that. I didn't even realize it until right now. But it's like I have been feeling this like full on boldness about being a badass when it comes to my beliefs and when it comes to my business. And because my beliefs are my business, like it goes hands in hand, I have been so unapologetic, which makes so much sense. Black Moon and Lilith is in my house of career. So this is going to be where you're going to be a little bit more bold and a little bit more edgy and provocative. And this is the time to lean into that. So if you want more insights, then I want to encourage you to book a birth chart reading, because then I can specifically tell you exactly how this is going to influence your energy, where areas of your life you can expect certain things to happen, and how to utilize this energy to manifest with it, right? So definitely book a birth chart reading with me. The description is down. The link is down in the description. This is a week of slow build and sacred fire, so I want you to move boldly towards your visions without abandoning your emotional needs as well. So a good journal prompt for you would be, how are you balancing boldness and softness this week, right? Let me know down in the comments exactly how you would answer that, or go to the Substack chat room where we can share and talk a little bit about our insights from this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to talking to you guys in the next episode. Have a wonderful and beautiful and abundant day. Bye.